All right, guys, we're going to move into our next session, which is with the lovely Brandy Peters, who I'm just going to bring up onto the screen right now. What we're going to be talking about is getting your life back by automating your business. And you may have seen this wonderful woman in the Facebook group and all around. She's a big part of the She-Evolve Collective and the She-Evolve community. And I'm not putting it lightly when I say she completely revolutionized how I thought about online marketing and our digital strategy here at She-Evolve. I got introduced to Brandy through a client of hers who is also part of our community here, who was telling me she was doing these Facebook ads for a $6 a day ad spend and getting huge results. And I was like, fuck off, that is impossible. I've been told that you need like $10,000 to test an audience, and I had wasted so much money on Facebook ads. I was even trained in Facebook ads like back when they first started, and back then like I was getting results for not that much money, but I tried it with She-Evolve. I was just throwing money in the toilet essentially. So when Danielle, who's our mutual friend and client, said I had to talk to Brandy, and I did, and she plugged us into her secret sauce ads formula, which she's going to be talking to you about today. And it was just like, a breath of fresh air. I was able to, I don't want to say I love producing content. Producing content is really fun for me, but I don't like to effort growth. I like it to happen in a really easeful, natural way. And that's pretty much what Brandy's system did. And not only that, did she help us really grow our brand and grow our list and all of those kind of metrics that are nice to have when you have an online business. Her strategy mind is just next level. She is heart-centered, so she speaks the language of a spiritual entrepreneur, which I find is probably for me, like working with somebody, that's like the number one important thing. They must speak my language and understand where I'm coming from. And Brandy is all that. So I'm super excited to have you here to just share this with everybody else. What else do I have to say about you? You've got an amazing organization, BP Creative Marketing, and she also does all the ads and digital funnel strategy here at She-Evolve. So if you were to come on board with She-Evolve and sign up for any of our digital marketing packages, you will have access to this woman. So with that being said, Brandy, how do we get our life back by automating our social media?
Hey guys, how's it going? Okay, so I did something a little bit different with my time here. We're going to do kind of like a 1/2 workshop. I'm going to teach you some things, but I'm also going to share some things with you. I'm going to open up about my story, and it's kind of funny because when people think about automation, it seems like a very technical thing. But one of the themes that I've been hearing from a lot of people is that they really, truly value their freedom. And I find that so interesting for spiritual entrepreneurs to say that they're like, I'm doing this for freedom. I'm doing this for family and quality of life. But then we are some of the worst proprietors of trying to hack social and get organic growth. So then, you know what, here's what ends up happening. And I'm going to jump into my slideshow, and this is mostly to help me stay on track. So I'm just going to share my screen, Megan, if I'm able to do that. So I'm going to use the slideshow. Like I said, it's mostly to help me get through this. But the funny thing is, so this is the name of the talk, just automate it and take your life back. But the point I want to hit on initially, oh, there we go. You got to love when you just jump in. Okay, is that spiritual entrepreneurs are the worst proprietors of this. I have found that they are going on and they're doing like the follow, like, trying to go into Facebook groups, trying to do all of these organic marketing strategies. They put out tons of content. They do all the things. And so they have this expectation. They have this expectation that if they post on social media, offer value, and they'll just grow organically. And this is the most time-consuming thing they could be doing, even though the reason they're getting into this business is to have freedom. But here's the reality that so many are experiencing. They're posting on their social media feed and not much is happening. They are doing the things, they're reading all the, guru thought leader blogs and articles and PDFs. Maybe they've invested in courses and training. They're doing all of these things to do organic marketing, but not much is happening and there's not much growth. And this is a common thing all of my clients have told me, so I love to put it in here, that, you know, they know that they have something to share. They have something that is coming from their heart. They've poured their life into it. They are writing like really heartfelt content. They really know that they have a message and something they want to put out into the world and a bigger vision. And so they feel like if only people knew about me, they'd love me. Like they know there's people out there who would receive their message really well, but accessing those people seems like impossible. Getting the attention, you're jumping up and down, you're waving your arms in the air, trying to get attention, but it's not happening. And I'm going to explain to you something that mystifies everybody, okay? The algorithm. The algorithm is a beast. People will often say, the algorithm's mean to me. I'm shadow banned. No one sees my stuff. They come in thinking that there's something wrong with them, and they complain about the algorithm because we all kind of know it exists as a thing, but they don't really understand how it works. So there's a lot of blame put on the algorithm, and I'm going to be honest with you. If you're doing organic strategy on any social media platform, you are not being set up to win. There is no such thing as just the perfect organic strategy that works to get all this visibility with no investment, and you just post and post and it's going to happen for you. And even if you are getting some momentum through organic, because I'll tell you my story, I'm someone who built for a long time on organic. Even if you are getting some momentum with organic growth, you're not building a relevant audience. You're not necessarily attracting the right people. You're getting random traffic. And if you have random traffic, meaning that you don't know where it's coming from and it wasn't intentionally strategized to get it there, it's not necessarily the right audience for your product. So the conversions are still going to be low. So even if you can get traffic through organic, it's random traffic. It's not controlled. You're not being set up to win. So we're going to go through algorithm basics. I think if you walk away from this and you have this knowledge, whether you go ahead with organic strategy or you start to invest in ads, you're going to be further ahead understanding a few basic things. So first of all, guys, listen, when you swap to a business page or a business Instagram profile, you are indicating to Facebook that you have commercial interests. You're saying, hi, I'm here to sell something. And you're throwing your name in the rink with everybody else who was there before in various niches, and that's what you're saying when you swap over. Now, you shouldn't necessarily be doing all of your marketing on a personal profile because you're not getting any insights at that point, but it is true. It is kind of pay to play. If you switch over, this is the reality you're now accepting. I am here for commercial interest. Hi, Facebook. So what you're going to get when you're posting is about 1 to 2% organic reach to your audience. I'm going to make that really simple. If you have 100 people on your Facebook page or Instagram profile, then per post, you're reaching anywhere from 1 to 2 of them on the 1 to 2% organic reach. That's what's happening. So on 1,000 people, you're reaching 100 to 200 of them. It's not, 10 to 20. It's that low. And here's why it's that low. I'm going to explain it. The platform initially is going to show your post to the people who are most likely to engage with you. So if you have a very small audience and most of them are friends and family, like one of your most biggest fans is your mom, okay? She likes everything you do. Then the algorithm knows that and they show it to your mom. And when she likes it, they're like, okay, she likes it. So they'll show it to a few more people. So the engagements from the first people, and they give you a leg up, they show it to the people who are most likely to engage. And those engagements trigger the showing of it to more people. If they don't engage, your reach stops. So you guys have all seen that bar and you've looked at your insights maybe and you're like, I don't know what I'm looking at. Why is it like this? That's what's happening. And also keeping in mind that they're serving your content up when people come online. It's not I post and then everybody's online and they see it. It's as people render a feed, they see posts and content. And it's competitive. It's competitive because everybody's putting out content. So if your reach is stopped because mom liked it, but then the next few people didn't like it, then you're going to be prompted to boost or promote this post. And this is Facebook's way of making money from you because you said, I have commercial interests. So they'll kind of prompt you through a process to boost or promote this content. And if you go along with their kind of just prompts, I'm not saying it's terrible, but it's not going to necessarily make the best decisions. It's going to basically make suggestions based on how you've set up your page, so keywords and content on your page for who you should target audience-wise. But boosts and promotions just done without really any consideration of like, okay, who am I trying to target? What locations am I targeting? Here's like a real clear on who my message is for. If you just follow Facebook's prompts, it's just going with what you're telling it, and it's using your page, or in the case of Instagram, your Instagram profile, to figure out, you know, some suggestions. So what you're gonna get is not terrible, but it's not gonna be great either. And it will be dependent on how much data is there for Facebook to make suggestions. I don't recommend boosting or promoting anything when they tell you to. You really have to think about how you're going to spend your ad spend dollars. Now, from the perspective of Facebook and Instagram, placement in the feeds, so specifically the feed placements. So we have other placements on Facebook, but specifically the ones that everybody wants is in the feed, which is prime advertising real estate, you guys. People are competing to be visible in the feed. There's only a percentage of content that is going to be permitted for ads, and it is prime advertising real estate. And if you know anything about what happens in the ads manager, it's all bid-based. So if you're running for an audience and you've only got a $2 ad spend, and somebody else wants that same audience, so say a big corporation wants that same audience, and they're putting in, you know, $200 a day to that audience, it's bid-based. Your cost to show up is going to be higher. And Facebook and Instagram are not going, well, you're just a little guy, I'm gonna give you a break. No, this doesn't how it works. So you are competing for this ad space. And the thing is, here's what a lot of people forget about the algorithm and reach. And this, I think, comes from being in the experience of you're doing this and you have a lot of enthusiasm for what you're doing. But the reality is that reach is not going to be determined by the audience size. So you could spend a lot of time trying to build a large audience, but it's actually the relevance of your content to that audience that determines how much organic reach you're going to get. So an example here is, say you had an Instagram profile that was all funny cat videos, okay? It was all funny cat videos, and the entire audience on there, so there's like, I don't know, 10,000 people, and they all like to watch funny cat videos. Then every time you post a cat video, like, it's gonna get a lot of organic reach, because going back to how the algorithm behaves, it's gonna show it to them. They're gonna be like, you know, I like this, they're gonna like it, it's gonna show it to more and more people in your audience. You're gonna have tons of organic reach on that cat video profile. But if you have a 10,000 person audience and the content you post is not the content that that audience wants to see, when you post, it's still going to not reach that audience. You're not going to have access to that organic audience. So the time that you're spending trying to build it by random means, that organic strategy, it's not going to serve you when you start to like actually market something, unless you're building a target audience, like a very relevant, highly targeted, strategized audience that matches the content that you're about to post. And now, oh my God, guys, so here's the thing, it gets worse because there's a quality ranking system at play. And I don't want to bring anybody down, because I know now I'm probably getting to the point where you're like, oh my God, this is, you know, eye-opening, I finally get it. But there's one more thing that's really gonna mess you up if you don't understand it. There's a quality ranking. And this is determining within Facebook and Instagram what they should consider to be content for an audience and what is advertising. And there's no way to cheat it, okay? They look at your content and they determine if this is an ad, and if it is an ad, you're supposed to make it an ad. And if it's content, then it's content, and it will still get some organic push. Now, what's the difference, you might be wondering? Because you're like, all of my stuff is awesome content. Not necessarily. An example of content might be like a storytelling post, a meme, an inspirational quote, a short video, like something like that, but it's not necessarily your ad. A very common thing that people will post though is be like, you know, it's a graphic that looks like something you'd take out in a newspaper, you know, like an ad that looks like it's a graphic, and it's, you know, talks about what's for sale and has a lot of, you know, kind of marketing speak in the post itself. Like the best example is, I think of newspaper ads, because traditional advertising, think of billboards, kind of stuff you see on there. If you guys ever see like a flyer, if you've ever seen a flyer, if it looks like that, Facebook knows that that's an ad. And again, that's not going to get reached. They're going to be like, no, not that. You're supposed to pay for that. Yikes, right? Okay. So in conclusion, when a person wants to be visible on social media to a specific audience, they should pay to reach that audience. There's just a reality that is going to kick in at some point, because when we talk about freedom and we talk about automation, you have to understand that you don't need to be doing all of those crazy things that people do. Like my pet peeve, and I think my heart breaks when I hear about this, are people who are in like Facebook groups that are meant for Instagram engagement loops, those kind of things. So I can't see you guys, but hands up, please. Hands up in the comments if this is you. If you've ever gone into like an engagement group and then you're doing it with the intention of, okay, I'll post my Instagram post and then everybody will go to my Instagram post and give me engagement on that post. And then I'll go through the 100 people who have posted on that thread and I'll give them engagement. And that's supposed to be doing something for you. It's just creating a chore. It's just creating a black hole of like a non-productive routine that isn't really getting you anywhere. And you're doing that today. I kindly ask that you would stop and take your life back. So let's get into it. Organic traffic is ultimately going to be random and uncontrolled. Okay, we've covered that. But ads allow you to put your content in front of exactly who you want to see it. So there's a belief out there that there's some way to win against the algorithm. I blame the popularity of people like Gary Vee saying things like, offer value, post tons and tons, and then people will find you. But one thing that I find these thought leaders who put this out into the zeitgeist, and we all buy into it to some extent, is that they neglect to address the fact that that's not how the algorithm or the advertising features within social media platforms specifically are designed. They're designed to help people who are paying, not the freeloaders who are playing. Okay, I'm gonna intersect with a bit of a personal story, because after I like called you out and broke it down, I should raise my hand and confess to doing all the things. I've been doing social media marketing I've been doing social media ads for like the last 5 years, but before that I had a whole life. And that life was first I was a body and self-esteem blogger. I had a bra blog. And then I got into content marketing. And so I used to write blogs and SEO copy and email marketing. And from there, I ended up building a business where I was doing content marketing and copywriting. And when I started that business in 2012, and that's when I first actually, if you guys were here on Monday, found out about Kimra Luna. I was all about organic marketing strategies. I'd go into Facebook groups. I'd spend all of this time, building a brand, building an audience. My whole life was ruled by these behaviors. And I think I'm in an interesting case because I wasn't someone who was completely unsuccessful at it. I was able to bring in a consistent income using these methods. But when you actually do the math on the money that I was bringing in to the time I'm spending trying to do this, it's staggering. I would do Facebook Live like every single day. Before that, I did Periscope. I was intensely networking in Facebook groups, so intensely doing this to sell my content writing services. And I also had a YouTube channel, and all of these things were actually semi-successful. Just to go back to my stats, I had a list of 6,000 people. At one point, my Instagram was over 13,000. I had multiple Facebook pages with over 10,000 people. So I wasn't doing this to like no success. But let's talk about my quality of life at that time. So I'm buried in Facebook trying to make my dreams happen, right? I'm trying to be like, okay, there's gotta be a way to do this. And I'm obsessed with figuring it out. I'm looking at influencers and I'm in the marketing niche, in the copywriting niche. I'm trying to backwards hack it. So I'm doing what everybody does, which is try to bake a cake without a recipe. And meanwhile, I have an infant son and I'm his mom at home. And half the reason I started this business was to provide a good life for him. I got pregnant with someone I'd only known for about 4 months. So I had to figure out, I was like, I don't know if this relationship's gonna last. I need to figure out a way to make an income, but also take care of him. So work from home mom life. But while I'm trying to figure out this Facebook thing, I have this little baby and he's getting older and he's becoming a toddler and he's growing too. And basically mom's head's in the phone. She's the only one at home, and I'm doing this. And my husband feels disconnected from me because he comes home and I'm like, I got all this client work to do, just literally a slave to social media. I'm someone who says I'm a recovering addict of these behaviors. And if you can relate to my story at all, first of all, I'll let you know that it's okay. I think there's a lot of shame around these things when people realize that they're doing it. I know I had a lot of shame that I had to heal from when I finally recognized, the expectation versus reality that I covered at the beginning. In my head, I thought there had to be a way to, make 10K a month from home as a mom using organic marketing strategies on social media. And it was a real bubble burst too when I started to make progress in the industry and people started explaining to me that they're like, well, that's really awesome that you were able to do that organically. But hey, did you know a lot of that could have been done with ads? So that's my personal story. When I was making $4,000 to $5,000 a month, I was on Facebook. I wake up to be on Facebook and Instagram. Like, I was my obsession. A big shift in mindset for me happened when I first reached my 10K on Instagram. When I got 10,000 followers on Instagram, somehow in my head, I thought, now my life is going to change. Somehow I thought I'm going to get the swipe up and everything's going to be different for me. So it had been a huge goal. I put a lot of time into trying to achieve. I invested in photo shoots. I posed. I did the cute girl things. I tried everything, every tactic. I just wanted to achieve that milestone. And so I'm sharing this with you guys, and then I'm going to present a better way. But I also want to let you know that I'm not exempt from this. And if you're out there doing these things, I wanted you to, if I did anything with this Unfollow Summit theme, I just wanted to maybe help a select number of people unfollow these beliefs and move forward. So that's it in a nutshell. So the day I started to automate processes within my business with social media ads was the day I started taking both myself and my business seriously. So now with my ads clients, this is something I emphasize a lot. It's not just about automating processes and spending money on ads and trying to build your leads by the way that Facebook wants you to do it. Follow the rules of Facebook, do it that way. It's also about taking your business seriously and saying I'm actually a serious business owner. I'm not that mommy at home scrolling through Instagram, trying to build her following. It's taking things seriously. So the interesting thing was by 2016, I started working on ad experiments. I started educating myself in ads. And so in 2016, I started a business all around Facebook ads. It was called Growth Hack Ads. And I would run a funnel on Facebook using ads. And it was basically the pitch was no contract, no retainer, just great ads. And through that funnel, I was doing 3 or 4 ad campaigns a day for people. They'd be small business owners. They'd come into my chat bot. I would basically talk with them, get the gist of what they needed for an ad and plug that into their ads manager. And that became my new business. Once I figured ads out, I made a business around ads. And that's how I got to have tons of experience over 2 years running all these different types of campaigns because they were just coming in at random. And that's when people ask, well, how did you get good at Facebook ads? That's really where I got good at Facebook ads because you learn the tool, but then I was getting all these different scenarios to try it. And these days, I am completely a nerd about Facebook ads. I know the ins and outs. I think I've run every type of campaign for a variety of different niches. And when a new business is presented to me and they're like, how would you do this? My brain just starts to kick in and figure out the tools and how it would be done. But what does this have to do with automation, you're probably wondering? Well, the ads is the automated traffic source, but let's talk about what I mean by automation. So you can automate your audience growth. It's not that hard, actually. There's types of ads you can run that will populate your Facebook and Instagram with relevant traffic every single day. You can automate your lead generation. You can automate the process of actually capturing relevant emails and phone numbers, and then you just have to figure out how to follow up and have a process to follow to turn those leads into potential customers. If you're still doing discovery calls where you're getting on the phone, you're obviously going to have to book those appointments. But again, that can be scheduled. You can automate your scheduling. It's as simple as sending them an automatic message that tells them to book a time to speak with you. You can automate your payment process. So if you're someone sitting here who's still sending invoices, please Like, figure this one out, because you can send a PayPal button, you can set something up with Square and Stripe, you can use a tool like Kajabi or Shopify where they can check out with you. All of these things are taking time that they don't need to be taking, and that can be automated. You can automate your communications. So if you're still kind of trying to figure out how to nurture an audience and you're trying to do everything in social media can become your traffic source, but a lot of your communications can happen. And I really love like a good email list and a Facebook group, those two together. I know if you're selling yourself as a service or product, you are still going to have to nurture that audience before they trust you, but you can automate a lot of your communications. And that means you don't need to spend so much time sitting around doing everything with these organic techniques. You can also automate and control your reach. So everything I talked about explaining the organic reach and why it's kind of a beast and not really something to rely on can be automated and controlled. So if you put a message out to your audience that you want them to see, like, hey, I'm launching my course today, guys, you can control who sees that. You can actually promote that to your audience, the people who are most likely to engage with it, you're most engaged, within your audience network, not just everybody, but the people who are actually interacting with you, you can actually control that they see it. So if you've ever felt like, oh, the people who are going to buy from me don't see my content, that's completely within your control. So when I say automate, we're talking about ads, we're talking about a tool like Calendly, we're talking about virtual payment processing like PayPal, we're talking about email autoresponders like MailChimp. So a lot of these things are just tools, but they're gonna get your life back, I swear to God. So I'm gonna talk about the ads specifically, and then I'm gonna show you ad examples before we wrap up. So when I say you can automate the process of growing your audience, there are types of ads within Facebook and Instagram that are meant to allow you to grow your audience. You don't have to do like my page, please. You don't have to beg people to follow you. There are actually ads that will put relevant audience traffic onto your social media profiles. You turn them on, you give them some spend, and it just happens. It's kind of crazy, but it can be completely automatic. Same thing with your lead gen. So what I talked about was people could book an appointment with you because they're interested. You write some copy, tell them what you do. They can run an ad, they'll see the ad, they'll book themselves in for that appointment. You don't even have to talk to them. If you're spending a lot of time in Messenger, you can move them to your Messenger and start those conversations, but essentially ads could start those conversations for you. And then you could also control your reach. And what we're talking about there is your remarketing ads, and that's marketing to your internal audience. So people who are opening your emails, people who are engaging with your posts, we can build a remarketing audience that you just turn on. And so when you have something you want to say to the people who are actually paying attention, and you have a specific sector of your audience in mind that you want to reach, you can do that. But Brandy, okay, so I'm just imagining you have objections here. I don't know for sure. I'll have to read the comments. But I'm imagining some of you are thinking, ads are expensive, and I have a shoestring budget, and I can't run any expensive campaigns. I need to take a drink, one sec. If you can't afford to run expensive campaigns, that's okay, because we're not talking about really expensive campaigns here. Megan mentioned my $6 a day minimum, and that's kind of the entry point to work with me. If you've got $6 a day, so that's $186. I think I laid this out. No, I didn't. It's $186 a month to run campaigns the way I do them. If you have the fourth ad, and we'll talk about what the fourth ad could be, it's up to 4 ads, so it's $8 a day. So some people need at least $8 a day, but that's not a lot. I recently saw, remember we were talking about the newspaper ads? I live in Medicine Hat, Alberta, so it's gonna be different depending on where you live, but newspaper ads to run those are about $8 a day to go in the Medicine Hat News here. So if you're in a bigger city, obviously it's gonna be more expensive than that, but that's what it costs just to have it show up inside of somebody's newspaper, and who's reading that? Radio ads, much more expensive. Television, that's very expensive still. So $8 a day, it's not too bad. So we're gonna talk about in my $6 a day, and it's called the Accelerator Ad Set. And as a strategist and things that I'm a nerd about this, so I spend a lot of time experimenting. I've had a lot of experience with ads, So a lot of my methods are based on, oh, I've tested these out on multiple scenarios and things that I've kind of proven out. So we're working with proven templates of how to run your ads now, not just, here's what I think is right. We're working with kind of like a proven template. So this is what I do. I do a 3-ad set that works together. So we have phishing ads. Now these are going to build your audience. So we're going to find out who your audience is. It's going to depend on what your business is, but we'll have a conversation, figure out who we're targeting. And what we're going to do is run these phishing ads. And these phishing ads go out and they get people who are in that target audience to basically engage with one piece of content that shows up in their feeds. So it's sometimes a meme. I'll show you guys examples, but it's sometimes a meme, sometimes an inspirational post, sometimes a storytelling post. It appears as the content they follow. So it doesn't look like an ad. It doesn't look like a traditional ad like we talked about. It looks like content. And we run this to the target audience that we start with what we think is correct and we continue to work on it over time to get that cost down. But essentially you put this phishing ad out there. So these are some examples of phishing ads that I am currently running and working on. They've all been really successful, the ones I'm showing you here. Like I said, if you've ever seen content like this on your feed, if you haven't, you must live under a rock. This is actually an advertising strategy. So this is another set of 2 ads. These are all running right now. They're doing really well, as you can tell, with the engagement. And the key to getting that level of engagement is not just having a fun ad like this that looks like content, but also perfectly matching that ad to the audience that you're trying to target. So you're like, okay, now you're getting all this engagement and you're getting all these page likes and Instagram hits, because that's what we're doing. We're running it for Facebook page likes on Facebook, and we're running it for Instagram traffic on Instagram. But what happens with that traffic? Well, then we plug in a second type of ad, and this is our lead capture ad. And what this one does is it only triggers when people have engaged with that first set of ads. So basically it's offering them a lead magnet. I could do a whole other talk about lead magnets. There's not enough time, but essentially you're offering them something, some incentive or reason to opt in, and that's going to grab their email and other contact details. We're also pixel tracking this, so somebody who clicks onto it and maybe doesn't necessarily opt in, we're also able to remarket to them because they're being tracked as interested. And basically, these are running to turn all of that engagement into actual leads. And the reason these work better than just running this to a cold audience, which is sometimes something we do, but for the most part, this is more successful because if they visited your Instagram or visited your Facebook, they have some context about why they're seeing that ad. That ad is also showing up on multiple frequencies. So now after they've liked your Facebook page, it's in their stories, it's in their feed, it's in their sidebar. It's kind of being shown to them more impressions because their action of liking your page triggers this ad. So this is what these ads tend to look like. So there's some examples here. Lead magnets, like I said, it's a whole other beast, a whole other conversation we could have. But what your lead magnet is obviously should match the audience that you're targeting. So here's just some examples so you can get a sense of what we do. To the end here are actually contests or giveaways, which is awesome. That is really great for if you're brick and mortar or if you are looking to grow your list very quickly. I really recommend contests and giveaways. We have quizzes in here. We have your traditional downloadable PDF. I wanted to show you guys kind of a variety, but like I said, I could talk forever about lead magnets as well. And then the last ad that we could potentially run is going to be your offer ad. So this is going to be the ad actually telling people what they can buy from you. And this, again, guess what? Only triggers if they interact with that other ad. So if they're on your list, they're already like on your list, then they could potentially see this ad. And this ad, there's 2 things that this ad must do. It must clearly explain what you have for sale, which is crazy, but so few people are using social media to make it very clear what you can actually buy from them. So people might be following you and have no idea that you sell anything at all. It's wild, but it's a very common mistake because you get so caught up in the content process, you continue to forget that you have something for sale and to mention on a pretty frequent occasion that you have something for sale. And the other thing it should do for you is either allow them to directly transact. So if you're using Kajabi, if you're using Shopify, they should be able to just go there and make a purchase. And so that ad spend can actually convert into dollars. And that's if you're selling courses or a physical product. But the other thing it could allow them to do is possibly book a consultation, so a time to talk to you. You could call it a free consultation, a discovery call, an assessment, an introduction. You're going to have to like kind of customize how you're doing that. But basically you want to incentivize them to get on your calendar. And that calendar conversation is going to be your opportunity to sell. So this is what these can look like. I wanted to put some examples in here. Again, it's pretty variable what we have. It's going to depend. It's going to depend what you have for sale, whether it's a digital product, whether it's a service, of how we strategize this funnel ad. But the sooner you get this one plugged in to work with the other ads, the more successful you're going to be at generating income. But that said, those other ads should be the ones that we work on initially. That's kind of like I phase it out, phase 1, phase 2, because when we're working on those other ads, we're proving the audience. We're also kind of refining things to make sure we can do this at a reasonable cost to keep that machine turning. So we don't usually plug in the product ad until we have that audience proven out. So if you want to see some of my lead results here, I just grabbed a few screen caps. It's not very visually interesting. I've been told, based on all my experimentation, that I'm one of the best in the biz at this. I've got people who are like in awe of my methodology here. They're telling me, but I actually don't have a lot of context of what people's expectations for lead costs are, because as I've worked on people's campaigns, I've set my own expectations for myself about what I'm able to achieve with ads. So it's really interesting to me because I've recently been working with people in the greater marketing world, and what people are willing to pay for leads is often much higher than what I'm able to achieve. So not to toot my own horn, but I'm good at this. So I think that's everything. So this is kind of the overview here. We got to fish, we got to put people who are interested onto your lead list, and we got to make it really easy for them to pay you. That's automating to get your life back. You can turn these ads on and go to the beach, go to the park. You don't have to sit around like, follow. You can just stop doing those things and live your life again. And the only thing you need to focus on, I summarize this here. Instead of being at the mercy of the random, you get to control your outcome. That's what I love about it. That's why I'm passionate about it. It's very cool. But here's the thing, here's the ad budget. Okay, let's get to the end. So this is why you want to be doing this, because it's going to free you up. It's going to free you up to focus on the things that matter in your business. So we're all about energy, right, you guys? And like you're putting your energy into trying to hack this and figure it out, when really for $6 a day, it could be solved for you. And then all that energy, all that creative energy you have inside of you can go to making your business great, to making sure that your products are things that people want, to make sure that your sales process is on point so you can close. Like everything that you're doing to grow your list that is like organic methodology is taking up not just actual time in your life, but actually energy in your existence. And I want you to think about that. It's crazy to me that there's all these intelligent, talented, grown-ass women trying to tinker around on Facebook and Instagram and do these things when it can be completely automated. They can declare themselves, I'm a real business owner. I invest in my marketing. I set a budget aside for my marketing, and that's why my campaigns pay me back. It's about ROI, so that return on investment with me. So I do focus a lot on getting these heads, low cost and high result as I possibly can. But it's also, when you work with me and I'm your strategist, it's also about like, this is going to automate something and I'm going to clear this time up in your life, and you use that time however you want, but it's really freeing. It is truly about that freedom that it will create. Obviously there's things we always have to tinker with, which is usually your sales process. It's usually the design of the pipeline. I'm not saying that it's easy and we turn these ads on and you're making 1 million sales overnight. That's not the reality at all. There's always a metering of expectations to reality, but this definitely solves the problem of if you're spending your time where you're not even able to work on your own business because you're working on the marketing of your business, that takes that out of the equation. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. If you would like to work with me, the best way, if you guys are here, is to go through the collective. That's going to get you the fastest access to me. Obviously, I do run my business, BP Creative Marketing, and there's options there too, but the offers we have together, Megan and I, are really designed for spiritual entrepreneurs, heart-led entrepreneurs, and so that's really, where I could help you the best, because we have a whole bunch of offerings specifically catering to you. Yeah, so that's it. That's the whole thing. Feel free to reach out to me I am on social media. If you visit my website, you might start seeing my ads. It's bpcreativemarketing.ca. But for you guys here, we'd love to have you in the She-Evolve Marketing Collective.
Brandy, I think I think there's other people in this group watching, especially here on Facebook, that are just as blown away as the first time I heard you speak about all this stuff, because I was just so guilty of everything Brandy was talking about. And like, when I think back to just how much time and energy I used to invest into like growing my audience online and just getting some engagement on my posts and like trying to convert an offer, it was a good growth. It was a good lesson of personal growth for me. There was a lot I had to look at in myself as to why I was so attached to these things. But I think you really nailed it when you said, this is like treating it as a business. And I am a grown woman. I have 2 kids. I don't want to give a crap about how many people like my Instagram posts. Like, really, that is a very, very small thing that I should not be focusing my time on when I've got 2 beautiful boys and live in a beautiful place and want to create. Like, I think we are all here. We want to create. We want to birth this vision. We want to create this impact, but we need to treat it like a business. We need that masculine structure in order to support our creative energy. And I think that what you laid out today is just the perfect way to do that. So we can enjoy and be in that vibration of creation and all these higher vibrational energies, instead of worrying about how many people like our posts and trying so hard to sell what we're passionate about. So yes, thank you for revolutionizing my life. You guys, Brandy's amazing, and Marie's there. We have a lot of testimonials and women in our community who have worked with Brandy and in our marketing packages. If anybody is interested in learning more, Brandy, I am going to turn your slides off here because I have something to share now. So let's get my screen. I'm going to just share my screen for a second. Bear with me one sec, you guys. Okay. So I spoke a little bit about, first of all, Brandy, I want to say thank you. And I'm going to move you away from panelists now, but stay tuned, please. I'm sure you've got a million things to do also, but I'd love for you to stick around. So everybody, thank you, Brandy. And all her links on how to find her, you'll see them inside the Facebook group, and we'll put them here on Zoom. But really the best way to access her is through our She-Evolve Collective community, where, as we said, she does a lot of work with members of our community to do exactly what she just spoke about today. All right, so as I mentioned, I kind of explained to you my process of creating She-Evolve and just birthing this idea and how it really was a part of my spiritual process and my personal evolution. And one thing I love to do is put on these free events, these events where we can showcase women in our community and also just bring together an amazing group of women to talk about these things that a lot of us are dealing with by ourselves. We work online, so we don't have a lot of time where we can truly connect. And I think connection is a big piece of what we are all craving in this space. Connection and just learning how to make it work. Like, how can we actually make this desire that we have to make an income and make a life out of sharing our gifts and helping people? Like, how can we actually make that work? So yeah, these free events are part of what we do. But how we actually create revenue in the She-Evolve community is through our membership community, the She-Evolve Collective. So I'm going to take a minute here just to share it with you all. I feel like I need to honor my team and what we do here, and just show you guys and invite you guys to move forward with the She-Evolve Collective if that feels aligned with you. So first of all, I want to check in with you guys. I know we have some She-Evolve Collective members watching right now, but how have you been enjoying this experience of coming together and connecting with conscious women in business from around the world? So we have over 800 people that have registered for this summit, popping in on Facebook and Zoom throughout the week. So really the diversity of the people that we have in this summit is amazing. I've been learning more and more about each and every one of you throughout the summit, and I would love to invite those of you that are feeling called to be part of the She-Evolve community and just continue with this energy past the summit to join us and to join the She-Evolve Collective. And I've got a special offer specifically for you guys in the Unfollow Summit. So I'm going to present two offers. One includes Brandy, and the other one is just within the She-Evolve Collective community. So I'll tell you a little bit about the She-Evolve Collective so you can kind of gauge if it is something that feels aligned to you. So essentially what it is, it's a network of women, like I said, around the world who either have online businesses or who are currently birthing something, who have a very strong call. And we've got women from the idea stage to, you know, tens of thousands of followers and podcasts that are, you know, getting tons of downloads. And so we've got a whole gamut of women, but what the uniting force really is just that desire to be on the front line of the awakening of the world. So to be offering their services in a way that are going to motivate, empower, and expand and evolve the consciousness of women that they work with. And it doesn't have to be just women, but a lot of us are focused that way. So within the She-Evolve Collective, we have a collaboration network. So a lot of the women in our community, they have social media platforms, some have podcasts, some have YouTube channels, some have blogs. So we provide a place for you guys to be able to connect and co-create with each other. So we've had people, lots of people have been on each other's podcasts, but we've had people who are guest presenters in membership communities, IGTV lives, writing for each other. So there's a lot of opportunity to collaborate with other women in this community. And because our audiences are so aligned, it makes a lot of sense to really facilitate a place for these synergies to occur. Training and support. So we do trainings every month on things like Facebook groups and algorithms and sales funnels. So just like we kind of had Brandy show up and talk to us today, we do those trainings monthly. And then we have a lot of resources so you guys can actually go home and map out what your Facebook strategy is, you know, vision planning, reverse engineering visions. We do a lot of these types of trainings, and we have all these resources for you, and also support. So it's just a great place to be like, hey, I'm redesigning my logo, like, what do you think? And then getting a lot of honest feedback, or like, hey, I'm feeling that this is really hard right now and this launch just isn't working. I've had like nobody sign up. What's worked for you guys? So it's just a really honest place to talk about what we're experiencing and get that support. So create for the She-Evolve brand. So that's kind of like the Unfollow Summit here. Not everybody that presented at Unfollow and that's presenting is part of the She-Evolve Collective, but I'd say at least 60 or 70% of them are. So we are always having different events and opportunities for you guys to present your medicine and share your wisdom with an audience that we curate for you. We also have opportunities to create for us in our Facebook group. So we do pop-up events like live readings or astrology reports. There's opportunities to take over our Instagram account, write for us. So we have a lot of ways, and we're always just thinking and channeling new ways for you guys to create for She-Evolve to get you more exposure for what you're doing. So networking events, opportunities just to come together and really get to know each other. We haven't done this yet, but I want to start doing virtual co-working. So for those of us that are working from home more than ever before, opportunities to just connect in and work together and just bounce ideas off each other. So our digital marketing support services. So I spoke a little bit about that before. That's where kind of Brandy comes in. We do a few different packages, but we also have a web designer, a graphic designer, Andrea, who had just made a note on Facebook there and who will be talking later about branding. But we have all of these things that you need as an online entrepreneur in-house here. So if you need ads, we've got an ad strategist. If you need a website, we've got a tech person. If you need branding, you know, we have a graphic designer. We have access to VAs. We can do all your social media management. So our digital marketing services are available to you within the She-Evolve Collective, as well as a strategy call. So when you sign up, you'll have a call with myself, or you'll have a call with somebody on the She-Evolve team, so we can really dive into your strategy and see how we can best showcase you in the She-Evolve community. So the regular price to join the She-Evolve Collective is $3.99 a year, which in my opinion is a super good price. I've invested in a lot of things in my business, and to have access to all of this for $3.99 a year, I think is a really good deal. But for you guys, we have a special summit price of $199 a year, and that ends today. So again, this is a business write-off, this is a business expense, and I think for the value that you'll have, I feel like it's a no-brainer, but I understand the value. I'm part of the value, and yeah, I think that I've spent $199 on a lot of dumber things that had no benefit for my business at all, such as Facebook ads that I've run for myself. So again, who is this for? This is for the woman in the calling activation stage. So maybe you still have your corporate job or your 9-to-5, but something is really calling you to start an online business, and you just need that sisterhood and that support to help bring it out of you, to help birth it out of you. This is for women that have an online business already that just need help. Like maybe things aren't working. Maybe you're in the stage that we've all been there before, where you're just like throwing spaghetti at a wall and hoping something that will stick, or, you know, nobody really understands what it is that you're doing, but you are committed to making it work. You have no choice. This calling is so strong inside of you that you are going to make it work. We're here to just give you some more opportunities, expand your reach, amplify your message, and give you a bit more structure to make it happen. And then it's also for established brands. So we've got a lot of women in our community that have been in the online game for a long time. They're already speaking on stages. They're already on tons of podcasts, and they just want to be in this community to network more and grow their reach. And it's a great place to get clients. Like a lot of women in our community, they work with each other. Obviously, they've become really good friends. We've created a really tight-knit group of women. So the She-Evolve Collective, I feel like that is a great opportunity. I would love to have everybody in the Unfollow Summit in the She-Evolve Collective. I feel like if you resonate with Unfollow, you resonate with the She-Evolve Collective. There's the other offer I want to present to you is if you loved Brandy's talk about automation, we have a marketing and growth package, which includes her ads package and sales funnels design. And we can only onboard a limited amount of marketing clients every month, obviously, because we don't want to overload our team here. But I am going to offer her growth package plus a human design business reading by Beck, who spoke the other night. The regular price for this package is $900 a month. I'm going to discount the $199 each month, so you'll access it for $700. And that includes your She-Evolve Collective membership. That includes the human design business reading, and that's all Brandy's ads, sales funnel support. And what that means by sales funnel support is we'll strategize with you to see what it is you're creating and what sort of your long-term vision is. Do you want to launch a group program or a course or a membership community, or, you know, your one-on-one high ticket? What are you trying to create here? Okay, so now that we know that that's the goal, what are we going to do to get people here? So we'll help you create that high converting opt-in, be it a quiz or a PDF or a webinar or whatever that is. You'll have access to our tech team. You'll have access to myself, to Brandy, to our designer to make it all really pretty. And then we'll set up the ads for you, and you'll start seeing that growth. So you'll start seeing the growth in your social media. You'll start seeing the growth for your email list. And then we'll introduce likely a lower ticket offer in there so you can start paying for your ad spend. And it's all working towards that big offer that you're going to be creating. So we have space. There we go. I just said all those things. So we have space to onboard 5 growth spots in October. So that offer is available to you as well. And like I said, if you sign up for the growth package, you're also going to have your access to the She-Evolve Collective. So both of these deals expire tonight. There is a bit.ly link right there for you to claim them. You should also have an email going out, automation, right about now, that will give you a link to claim these offers. I've also put a bunch of testimonials on that offer page, so you can hear from women in the community. If you want more testimonials, I'm sure you can just post in the Unfollow Summit group, and women inside the She-Evolve Collective right now can tell you all about their experience. So yeah, this is the invitation I'm going to give you guys. I feel that if you are drawn to this summit, then this community is going to be in perfect alignment. I would love to continue on with you all after this summit, be here as your fearless leader here in the digital marketing space, but in a way that really supports you guys in your personal expansion and evolution. And obviously, spirituality and energy and alignment are very big in the theme of Unfollow, as they are inside the She Evolve Collective. It's really for visionary female leaders, light workers, coaches, conscious brands, and impact entrepreneurs. That's the common theme that unites us all together. So that's what I'm going to say to you guys today. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat or put them in Facebook. Go to that link. The offers are available, like I said, to the end of the day today. We can fit 5 people in our growth package for the month of October, and all of you are welcome inside the She Evolve Collective. That is going to conclude our afternoon or our morning session. Thanks for staying to listen to me tell you all about this. I really appreciate it. And then this afternoon, we are going to be talking about prosperity. So we've got a prosperity panel happening at 12. What time is it now? Okay, so in an hour from now, we're going to rejoin for the prosperity panel, and we're going to talk about all things money mindset, wealth consciousness, and attracting, being the point of attraction for the financial abundance that you desire. After that, we're going to do a sacred feminine flow meditation with Mira Michelle. And following that, we're going to speak to Andrea Webb about blanding, which is branding. It's not just a typo. So what you need to know about creating that powerful brand that really broadcasts what you're all about and what you're creating in this world. So I'm going to leave it there. We'll see you back here in 1 hour. If you want to sign up for the growth package or the She Evolve Collective, the offers expire today. So there is a link, the bit.ly link there, and we'll see you this afternoon. Bye.